Coming up on this episode of Falmouth in Focus, we get a preview of spring at Highfield Hall, learn about a nonprofit that helps children, and follow up on Mullen-Hall's March Mathness Challenge. All this and much more on this episode of Falmouth in Focus.
Hello and welcome to Falmouth in Focus, FCTV's current affairs program. I'm your host, Michael Kasparian. We start this episode with a piece on fentanyl, an alarmingly popular synthetic opioid that has recently been wreaking havoc across the country. While it impacts users and their families, one may not readily consider the dangers present to officers on call who handle this deadly substance. FCTV spoke with Detective Christopher Bartolome about the safety precautions our local police must endure when responding to a fentanyl-related situation.
Falmouth's always had a terrible drug epidemic. It's nothing new. What's new is the fact that it's gone to heroin. When I first started doing narcotics back in 2005, the one drug that we always bought from people was cocaine. The switch to fentanyl kind of started, I'm going to say about 2016, 2015, we started seeing a lot more fentanyl once the cartel started really getting into the heroin business. Heroin, it comes from a poppy. It comes from the flower, and it takes a while to produce. So what happened, the phenomena that really happened was the cartels really got into the business. Once they started losing the marijuana profits, the cartels got kind of smart into it, and they started making the synthetic material, which is fentanyl. Fentanyl is about 100 times stronger than heroin, much easier to produce. A little bit of the difference is it's white, it's odorless, and where heroin's brown, and it does have a slight smell to it, more of a vinegar smell from the heroin, but fentanyl's odorless and is white in color. So when fentanyl really started taking off and officers were getting injured, Chief Dunn kind of was smart about it, and he kind of was at the forefront of stopping us from testing. So Chief Dunn's big into the Mass Police Chiefs Association, and one of the things that they started doing was telling the officers not to drug test anymore. If a drug test was a simple chemical test, which it had a vial, you'd open that vial up and you'd put some of the product into that vial, you'd crack the ampuller, and then it would give you a color code if it was heroin, fentanyl, cocaine, or whatever drug it would be. Once the fentanyl really took off, you kind of got to get a little up and close with the product when you're doing that, and there's a tendency sometimes it will fall onto your hand. With fentanyl, which is different than all the drugs, is it can be absorbed through the skin, so officers were feeling ill from it and hitting the effect. So we stopped doing all field testing. We always wore gloves to begin with, but we were a lot more cautious about using gloves with that, mask, glasses. So in 2017, the way we would execute a search warrant would be going in there with our regular patrol gloves, which are just leather gloves, no glasses, no mask. Since the phenomena of fentanyl really came off, all of our policies now states when we do a search warrant, we will go in with glasses, which are just common, not sunglasses, but common 3M glasses, clear glasses. You'll go in with rubber gloves, and you'll also go in with a mask covering your nose and mouth. That is the new policy that we do when we execute our search warrants, which never really happened beforehand. We never really did that. A lot of agencies look at us kind of strange when we do it, but we take that extra step just because you never know what you're getting yourself into. It's funny because, again, you think you're taking every step possible right now. I mean, again, doing meth labs and seeing the cleanup on meth labs, a lot of times they go in with the Tyvek suits. You know, I would not be shocked if that's the next thing that comes down to us, that we're going to have to invest into those suits to go in. Because again, you just never know what's going to happen.
The Falmouth Police Department will be taking part in Drug Take-Back Day, which will be held on April 28th, offering a safe way to keep dangerous substances such as fentanyl out of the hands of the public. Thanks to Jeff Wyman for that piece. We recently spoke with Wastewater Superintendent Amy Lowell about the completed Little Pond Sewer Service Area project. In this next segment, we speak with her again to get a better understanding of the town's grinder pumps and how they operate.
Hi, I'm Amy Lowell. I'm the town's wastewater superintendent. We're here at a property in Mara Vista that had a grinder pump installed this winter. The restoration around this property has not been completed, but this grinder pump is in operation and the installation is complete. There are about 1,400 sewer connections in the Little Pond sewer service area. About half of those are made by gravity and the other half are made by low pressure, which means that each of the properties that's connected on low pressure has a grinder pump. The grinder pump area is in general the lowest portion of the service area where the wastewater cannot flow by gravity from that area to the sewer system. We are now in the Department of Public Works garage, and this is one of the recent grinder pump orders. Behind me is one of the grinder pump units. This unit looks pretty intimidating when it's here behind me. I'm 5 feet tall. This is an 8-foot tall unit. But when the unit is installed, all you will see is the top 4 or 5 inches of the grinder pump unit, the green plastic cover that you see up at the top. On this side is the inlet to the grinder pump, meaning this is where the wastewater comes in. On this side is the outlet. This is where the pump pumps out into the town's wastewater system. So you can see that the bottom part of this unit is the chamber of the grinder pump. It's the storage chamber. The pump unit is located inside this HDP tank. The whole top half of the pump is really mostly empty. It's providing the depth to get down to the elevation where the inlet wastewater comes into the pump. There are some things that you should not flush down the drain. Don't flush wipes, no diapers, no sanitary napkins, no tampons, and obviously, I think it should be obvious, no grit, shells. Any of that material can damage a grinder pump or damage the town's municipal pump downstream. So if there's a neighborhood power outage where the power is out to this property and others for more than 24 hours, you can call the town and request that your grinder pump be pumped out. And what the town does is we'll have a contractor come to your property. They'll have a generator on the back of their truck with a long extension cord. They'll plug the extension cord here and just give this power for long enough for the pump to pump the wastewater down in your pump unit. The grinder pumps in general should be maintenance free. This is not something that you need to worry about or take a look at every once in a while yourself. There are tens of thousands of grinder pumps just like this installed and operating all over New England. These are a low maintenance piece of equipment.
Thanks to Andrew Richards for that piece. Falmouth recently held its Springtown meeting. Over the course of 3 days, delegates and officials charted the course for the future of the town, and in this next segment, we take a look at some of the articles that were discussed.
Falmouth Town Meeting was held last week with 48 articles on the warrant. Among these was Article 18, asking town meeting members to fund an all-purpose athletic field at Falmouth High School.
With the artificial field, you can get a lot more play on it than you can on a natural grass because the grass isn't growing.
We have enough fields. Let's put the money into the other fields. We'll save more money and put more money where it belongs for our other kids.
How is this going to impact our environment? Not just the air, but our land, our water, everything.
I urge town meeting to vote yes on this tonight, place this on the May town ballot so that all of us can vote on it.
After nearly 2 hours of debate and discussion on the issue, citing pros and cons of such a field, town meeting members approved the funding for the field with a 178 to 22 vote. The cost of the field is estimated to be $3.1 million. Town meeting also approved Article 24, asking members to approve petitioning the state legislature to allow Police Chief Edward Dunn to serve beyond his 65th birthday. There were some members that voiced their concern about approving this article, but the vast majority of town meeting members praised the chief for his efforts with the police department.
He's an administrator, and right now he is administrating, in my opinion, one of the most professional police departments on the Commonwealth of Massachusetts.
He's lit a lot of torches, there's no question about that. Let the people below him and the people coming up carry those torches and then light their own.
His commitment to creating a positive relationship between the school district and the Falmouth Police Department has been absolutely remarkable.
With a 130 to 65 vote, town meeting approved this measure, and the state legislature will now be asked to approve the police chief's extension.
This is about the town manager having the ability to reappoint the chief to a new contract for the good of the town. Thank you.
Town meeting members discussed issues of civil liberties while debating Article 27 regarding fingerprint-based background checks. This addition to Chapter 156 of the Code of Falmouth would extend the scope of background checks for the Falmouth Police Department and allow them to conduct national background checks with the FBI's database. Only certain vendors in Falmouth would be subject to this addition to the bylaw. Some town meeting members were skeptical about this addition to the bylaw, stating that this could be a first step to a future with even more stringent measures.
I have a general concern that we're trying to protect ourselves from everything, and where does it stop?
If Chief Dunn thinks it's a good idea for fingerprinting to occur in this manner, then you can take my fingerprints. I think that there are reasons why this is being presented to us, and we should trust the chief and his department to do their business.
Town meeting ultimately approved this article by a vote of 120 to 62.
To watch all 3 days of town meeting in their entirety or any other Falmouth government meetings, please visit fctv.org. Right now, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll check out a unique summer camp truly making a difference. Stay with us. Welcome back. As we start to move into the summer, both casual and professional athletes begin to set their sights on Falmouth's world-renowned New Balance Falmouth Road Race. The one-week registration period open to Falmouth residents runs from May 1st to the 7th, with general registration following from May 8th to the 17th, so don't delay. For more information on registering, you can visit falmouthroadrace.com/registration. As always, FCTV Public Channel 13 will be bringing you live coverage of the race on August 19th, and sponsorship spots are now available. So contact us at 508-457-0800 if you're interested in sponsoring this momentous event in sports. Highfield Hall recently held its annual member preview and offered us a look at some of the diverse collections of art on display this spring.
Hi, I'm Peter Franklin. I'm the Executive Director here at Highfield Hall and Gardens. I'm sitting at Highfield Hall, and we are having our member preview today. Member previews are for all of our terrific members to get a sneak preview of what's coming up. So today we have exhibits for the spring in showing.
Hi, I'm Janet Morgenstern-Pisani, Director of Marketing at Highfield Hall and Gardens. Right now we're sitting in the billiard room, and I want to take a moment to tell you a little bit about what's coming up this spring. Artability, art by artists with disabilities, runs from April 15th to June 17th with an artist reception on May 6th. This is a national show featuring works of 29 exceptional artists who work in a diversity of media, including printmaking, mixed media, sculpture, metalwork, drawing, and painting.
One of my favorites is the exhibit with from people who have disabilities, and it's just an amazing exhibit because the works they produce are extraordinary. One of them, which is my favorite, this woman produces artwork with little tiny itty-bitty pieces of paper that they glue to the surface, and when you step back it looks like an Impressionist painting, and then when you get really close you can see the individual pieces of paper. Just an amazing piece of work.
Artistic Trails in Healing, the paintings of Deborah Hope Cooligan and her students, runs from April 15th to May 13th. Deborah is a graduate of the prestigious Pennsylvania Academy of Fine Arts and a lifelong artist. After a horseback riding accident in 2004, she received a traumatic brain injury that required her to spend years in recovery. Deborah now dedicates her life to teaching art to students of all kinds, including differently enabled students from a wide variety of backgrounds. Thin Places, Drawings and Photographs by Deborah Coolidge. This exhibition of drawings and photographs explores Deborah Coolidge's profound connection with trees, particularly old growth trees and witness trees in New England. We also have Expressions in Wood, Carved and Turned Vessels. This exhibition explores the work of 5 local artists bound together with a shared passion of wood turning and wood carving. Exhibiting artists include Sue Beardsley, Bob Beardsley, Mike Grady, Toby Lawrenson, and Gary Tabor. Also, The Continuum of Now, photographs by John Moore. His photos of a winter walk around a snowy pond printed in sepia tone record fleeting moments of seeing as in the waning sunlight of a winter's day. We have 5 different art exhibitions, wonderful music that's going to delight and introduce you to some interesting musicians. And we also have culinary and garden and special events.
We have over 150 events over the whole year, and it's impossible to tell you everything, but if you look at our website, you'll find them, including tours. We'll be having regular garden tours, and we'll also have regular estate tours. So they're all free with admission, so come on down.
Thanks to Tony Sedera for that coverage. Local nonprofit Amazing Grace is a summer camp unlike any other. Residing on Camp Burgess, this totally free summer camp is offered to children of incarcerated adults as a means to escape the hardships that their home lives may bring. FCTV spoke with camp director Julie Lytle, who gave us a tour of the grounds and explained why this resource is needed.
Hi, I'm Julie Lytle. I'm the program manager and camp director for Amazing Grace of Cape Cod Incorporated. It's a program whose mission is to nurture positive and healthy futures for children and their families affected by incarceration. So we're here at Camp Burgess, which is the place that Amazing Grace starts. We have a program for children that are 7 to 11. We've started in 2014 with our first camp with 13 children. This summer we're hoping to have 30 kids coming to camp. So Amazing Grace uses camp as a portal. It's a 1-week camp experience where all of the costs are covered by people's generous gifts of funding as well as in-kind donations. And we're able to provide for the kids a full week from Sunday afternoon through Friday morning of being engaged in outdoor activities, in the farm program, in the waterfront activities, in the high ropes and the low ropes, arts and crafts, and things that they might not otherwise experience. The way our program is offered is that we have volunteers, usually 2 adults per tent, with 6 children, and we work with shifts so that there's 2 adults all of the time to help maintain the safety of the kids and make sure they're building some relationships with people that they know they can trust and that care for them. We have the benefit of working with the South Shore YMCA. They have their staff at Camp Burgess. 2 of their staff work with us throughout the week, and then we have their specialists. So when we need to be climbing on the high ropes, being at the waterfront, going across the pond to do the horses, their staff are helping our children to learn about these new experiences and to acclimate them to the new situations that they're in and to help them to try on something that oftentimes they haven't had the experience of doing before. In addition to the cost of that camp, we provide all sorts of other supports, so we don't assume that they have anything that they need. We want to give them their sleeping bags, their beach towels, their flashlights, anything that you can imagine a camper would need. All of that costs money, and we figure that it's about $1,000 a camper to be able to provide those resources and the camp experience. So we're completely reliant on the generosity of people across the Cape and South Shore to be able to sponsor a child so that their families don't have to worry about the cost of providing this experience to them. Our purpose is to let the kids be kids, to give them a chance to have fun and to let go of the stigmas and the looks of disapproval just because of something they didn't have anything to be a part of. And so they are accepted without regard of race or religion, class or creed, Anyone can come if they have a family member that's been incarcerated.
Amazing Grace runs from August 19th to the 24th. Thanks to Andrew Richards for that story. The weather is heating up, and so is trout fishing here on Cape Cod. Here is My Fishing Cape Cod's Ryan Collins.
Hello everyone, and welcome to another edition of the My Fishing Cape Cod Falmouth Fishing Report for the month of April. Many of the ponds on Cape Cod are currently stocked with healthy, large trout, such as this rainbow that I hooked right at my feet. However, this year, the brown and brook trout are particularly large. In fact, I recently used a small Rapala to catch the biggest brook trout of my life. Pound for pound, brook trout are among the hardest fighting freshwater fish. Definitely the biggest brook trout I've ever caught. If you're fishing in the evening and the sun starts to go down, don't give up. These fish feed very well in low light conditions as well. Now is the time to hit the water in search of trout. By using spoons and small Rapalas, you have an excellent shot at catching a quality brown, brook, or rainbow trout. This is Andrew Burke of MyFishingCapeCod.com signing off. Until next time, tight lines and take care.
Thanks to Andrew Burke and Ryan Collins of My Fishing Cape Cod for generously providing us with that footage. We're going to take another short break to learn about a local nonprofit, and when we come back, we'll drop by Mullen-Hall. Stay with us.
Hello, I'm Lee Geisiger of View Photography and chairperson of Arts Falmouth. Arts Falmouth is an umbrella organization created to celebrate, sponsor, and promote visual, performing, and literary arts and artists in and around Falmouth. We hope to foster a creative economy that will strengthen both the arts and the business community. In 2018, Arts Falmouth celebrates its 14th year as an integral part of the Falmouth community, and we're proud to once again showcase the arts through our flagship events across what we call Art for All Seasons. On May 5th, the Trad Stroll kicks off the art season in Woods Hole with a diverse array of Celtic, old-time, folk, roots, Renaissance, and medieval music and dance, from lively tunes to intricate harmonies on ancient instruments. Come celebrate spring and visit the restaurants, pubs, Woods Hole Library, and the Community Hall, all hosting performances. There is something for everyone's taste. Arts Falmouth is also proud to announce our collaboration with the Falmouth Village Association in producing our other two events. The first is Arts Falmouth's Arts Alive on June 15th through the 17th. Arts Alive, a perennial favorite at the start of summer, is a free 3-day celebration of the arts in Falmouth and the Upper Cape. Arts Alive takes place in the heart of Main Street, Falmouth, at the Library Lawn and Shore Street Extension. And the festival features over 60 performances of theater, spoken word, dance, and music for all tastes: jazz, classical, folk and fiddle, pop and rock music. There's a town dance on Friday night, a rock fest Saturday night, and more than 50 artisans and craftspeople displaying and selling their wares. The third event, right in the prime time of autumn, is the Jazz Stroll in October. Again, Arts Falmouth is partnering with Falmouth Village Association to feature the Jazz Stroll as part of Falmouth Village's month-long Jazztober celebration. Jazztober is a celebration of the true American art forms of jazz and blues that includes a variety of concerts, and on an October Friday evening, there is a free jazz stroll in the park and shops along Main Street, Falmouth Museums on the Green, and Queens Byway. Fall for jazz. Check Arts Falmouth out at artsfalmouth.org or on Facebook. We thank you for your continued support as we continue to support the arts.
Welcome back. Last month, we brought you a story about the March Mathness, a challenge put on by the Mullen-Hall School to see if they could gather 1 million math facts from people across the globe by the end of March. Now that the month has ended, we checked back in with them again to see how they did.
As a district, we've been working hard to really find ways to hook kids with our math instruction. We've been looking for levels of engagement, ways to make math meaningful, and we came up with an idea about March Mathness. And inclusive of plans within the month was our goal of March to 1 Million, where we challenged our Mullen-Hall Makos to complete 1 million math facts during the month of March. We also asked community members to help us too. And the outcomes have been just outstanding. I've been working in education for close to 30 years, and we've always been trying to get kids to do their math facts because it's really required for them to begin to use some higher level mathematical reasoning. And I can't tell you enough about how hard the kids worked and enjoyed doing their math facts because it was a challenge.
March to 1 Million was a huge success. We had kids begging to do math facts. They would finish one sheet and they would come and ask for more. I've never in my 30 years of teaching seen kids want to do math facts as much. In my own class, I do a Mad Minute every morning and the kids track their scores, and we looked at their scores from before March Mathness to now, and almost every kid went up by 25 points. All the teachers reported that the fact fluencies in their classrooms went way up. And part of the reason, I believe, is that kids who were having difficulty started doing practice sheets so that we could get 1 million. And as they did the practice sheets, it got easier to do, and so they did more and more, and it just blossomed.
We do this thing called Mad Minute, and I got 60 in subtraction, but I got like 49 before March Mathness, and I got like way more in subtraction. So March Mathness helped me to get better in math facts.
My most favorite thing about March Mathness was that we got to practice to do a lot of math facts in March Mathness. So in Mad Minute, I got 62 times in multiplication and division. And in March Mathness, it helped me to know my math facts quicker and faster.
They completed 1,186,511 math facts. And they were pleased with themselves, and each teacher had a little whiteboard outside his or her door with the grand total of their math facts. And everybody was looking at everyone else's door and keeping track. And that just kind of rolled along and culminated into a fun and engaging and necessary math activity.
Thanks to Ryan Weber for that piece. Here at FCTV, we want you to know that television can be as easy as hitting record on your smartphone. We'd like to invite all Falmouth residents and visitors to share their slice of life with us. Email us your photos and videos, or upload them to Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram using the hashtag MyFalmouth or Falmouth in Focus to be featured on the show. Thank you to our most recent contributors. We leave you now with the sights and sounds of sunset at the Knob. Thanks for watching Falmouth in Focus. We'll see you next time.